Hey, good for you. You finally made that decision. You're moving to Marquette, Michigan, or maybe it's on your list of places that you might want to move to. Well, you've came to the right place. Today we're going to go over 6 things that you must know before you make that move to Marquette, Michigan. Now let's kind of settle in, grab your coffees, grab your waters, whatever it might be, and let's talk about the 6 things that you must know before making a move to Marquette, Michigan. Now let me just do a quick plug. Hey, this is Travis Juntti with Living in Marquette, Michigan team. I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It really helps our algorithm get found for the masses of people looking to move to Marquette, Michigan. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Make sure you get notified anytime we put out new content. And look, all of our information is down there below. Text, email, call, whatever it is that's best for you. Reach out. We got your back days, nights, and weekends. Without further ado, let's get right to that content. First on the list, make sure you're prepared for lots of snow. A lot of people think about, hey, the summer is beautiful here. Well, hey, it is absolutely beautiful in Marquette. The falls, the springs, maybe sometimes a little shorter spring because of all the snow. But we do get a lot of snow here in Marquette, Michigan. Marquette, Michigan, if you kind of think of, now as a whole, Marquette, Michigan, we are a little bit lower elevation because, well, we're close to the lake. But as you go maybe up into the elevation a little bit, up in the Negaunee or up in the Ishpeming, you go up that way, you're going to have considerably more snow. It's not even funny. You could live literally, a couple miles up the hill outside of Marquette city limits, and you might be blanketed with snow. Where down in Marquette, down by the university, you might just have a dusting of snow. So depending on where you look to live, you may or may not get tons of snow, but we are in Marquette County. We're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We do have a lot of lake effect snow here, so you will get snow. So be prepared for that. A lot of people aren't really prepared for that. They're not prepared for the long cold winters. They're not prepared to dust off their car every morning if they're not parked in a garage. So those are things that come into play when you're making a move to Marquette, Michigan. One of those things might be, hey, can I get some garage space? Where can I park my car? Does my car even fit in my garage because of all the crap that I have in my house? We all know we've been there. Maybe you don't have storage in your basement. You're thinking, oh, I have storage in the garage. And then now winter hits and now you can't park your car in the garage. And you're like, oh, crap. So that's why we're here, to help you think about that kind of stuff. Number 2 on that list is you will need a car. Really kind of, unless you're living right downtown Marquette and you don't like to go anywhere and you can just bike around. Even if you're biking, a lot of times you might go a little further, but you will need a car to get around. There is plenty of parking in Marquette, in Negaunee. I mean, this isn't like a major metropolitan area. I think Marquette probably has a population around 20-25,000. It's kind of been hovering right on that number for a long time, depending if school's in season or not in season, that kind of thing. But you will need a car to get around. That's really the biggest thing. And kind of as we covered in the last topic, you might not only need a car, you might need a all-wheel drive car or all-wheel drive vehicle or a 4-wheel drive or a pickup truck because you're dealing with a lot of snow. And sometimes talking about cars and snow all kind of combined in one. If you're living up in Negaunee or up off the beaten path there up in Ishpeming or something like that, a lot of times these plow trucks might not get to you before it's time to get off to work or get the kids to school. You might be dealing with a lot of snow, so you might not only have snow, but you might also have to have a truck to plow the snow or a snow blower, things along that kind of nature. So I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent on snow again. It just kind of happens, but you will need a car to get around. It's not long commutes to work, depending on where you're at. There's a couple major employers, which we talk about in other videos, but most of the time you can be driving 15-20 minutes to work. But yeah, you will want a car for the most part. And I guess kind of on that, I mean, there's not a whole lot of public transportation. I mean, there is the MarkTran, the bus, but it doesn't really have large routes. But you're really not going to want to rely on just that to get around. It's a small town, so. Number 3 thing that you should be aware of is there's a lot of outdoor enthusiasts in Marquette, Michigan. You might want to go check the other video I have up there the number one reason why people are moving to Marquette, Michigan. I know that'll kind of go into more detail, but there's a lot of outdoor enthusiasts. There's a lot of folks that are biking around. Be aware as you're driving on the roads. Be aware for bikers and hikers and people getting around using our beautiful town. A lot of people will talk about Marquette. It's kind of like a miniature Boulder, Colorado, where people are just outdoor enthusiasts and getting around and enjoying life. There's people that are spending time out on the lake, all times of the year. There's people, skiing all times of the year. Obviously on roller skis in the summer. So there's people around. So hopefully you're into outdoors, or even if you're not, they are fairly friendly. Anything crazy here, but just be aware. I mean, there's a lot of outdoor enthusiasts that really enjoy their outdoors. So be mindful of that. Respect our nature and the people that are out enjoying it. Another thing to be mindful of is, we do have the beautiful Lake Superior, which looks beautiful on surface, but please be careful of the certain areas that you must be aware of before you just go jumping in and swimming. If you're not aware of some of these areas, there have been, cases of people getting in the water at the wrong time, in currents, or going for a leisurely kayak ride out on the Lake Superior, and all of a sudden the weather changes. It can become a dangerous thing. So please be mindful of the weather and of our nature here in Marquette. And number 4 on the list is we have a lot of authentic, thriving small businesses. Part of the reason being for that, I mean, they're not all thriving. I mean, let's be real, but part of the reason why there's a lot of small businesses is due to the rural area that we're in. There's a lot of large businesses that don't want to come here because they don't have the people, they don't have the traffic of people coming in, and that's part of the reason why a lot of these small businesses do so well. There's a lot of people that are supporting a lot of the small businesses. Now we're talking, you can have little knick-knack shops or book shops or shoe repair shops. There's several different bike shops, obviously, with the outdoor recreation. There's rental of electric bikes, e-bikes, all kinds of different things. Just small business entrepreneurs. Things abound in Marquette. So I mean, if you're living in Marquette, go out into Washington Street or 3rd Street. Take some time, taking some of these different places. You'll find lots of different unique restaurants. One of my cheap favorites when I was going to college, and still one of my favorites every time, is Main Street Pizza. I certainly enjoy their pizza, but a lot of different meal options or dinner options if you're looking for that experience in Marquette, Michigan. And partially with that rural feel that we are, is number 5 on the list is access to not a lot of specialized medicine, not a lot of specialized physicians. If you're looking at, hand doctors, foot doctors, mouth doctors, ear doctors, orthopedics. Bottom line is, if you're looking for some of that specialized stuff, you might have 0 options. You might have limited options depending on what you're looking for. Being in Marquette, your largest municipal area that might have some of these different options, you might be going all the way down to, say, Green Bay or Duluth or whatever it might be, which could be 3 or 4 hours either way to find, your specialized medical care or specialized, surgeon or whatever it might be. So if you're okay with that, just it's something to be aware of. You're needing something like that. Make sure you look at that kind of stuff beforehand so that you're prepared when you're making a move to Marquette, Michigan. And number 1 on the list, I appreciate you sticking along for this. This is probably the most exciting. This is regards to real estate, right? It is a tight real estate market, and that's why you need the number 1 relocation team in Marquette, Michigan. We are the Living in Marquette, Michigan team, and all our contact information is down here below. Make sure you reach out so that we can kind of get you into a place that you really love. But anyways, it is a tight market, so you need to be prepared. If you're coming here maybe last minute and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to buy a house, you might not find that house. Maybe you need to sell a house back home, or maybe you got to get your finances in order, whatever it is. You might not find that house right away because our inventory is so small. It is you got to really kind of be a larger window to be prepared to find the house that you're looking for. It might be hard to find a house right away. A lot of people are moving into maybe a rental place while they're living here and looking for a place to live. There's not a lot of new construction here. So there's some of these limitations that come into play. Maybe you might need to move into a different area, maybe outside of town a little bit, to work yourself back into town. But like I said, that's why you reach out to the #1 relocation team in Marquette, Michigan, to understand what your options are, understand challenges that we have in this market. You might have a specific criteria of, hey, maybe you want to live in Marquette, but you want a house that's ready to go. You don't want to do a lot of work to it. You might have two options. Or maybe you're looking for a house outside of Marquette, but you still want Marquette schools. You want some property. You might have one option. Maybe you want to live in Negaunee. You want to be in Negaunee schools, but you want to be close to Marquette, within 10 minutes. You might have two options. Maybe you want a lakefront house. You might have 0 options right now. So it really depends. We really have to understand what your budgets are, what your wants, needs are, maybe your secondary wants and needs, because that comes into play into these smaller markets. So you really have to understand, you really have to be prepared when making a move here to Marquette, Michigan. Now, I certainly hope that you find a lot of value from this video. Like I said, I'd really love if you'd hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment down below, maybe where you're coming from, where you would like to be. Love to hear where all my fans are coming from. It's really fun to interact with y'all. It's hard to interact, obviously, via video here. It's the best thing to do is drop a comment so we know where you're coming from. Maybe some thoughts on maybe some other things that maybe you had thought of that you would like the rest of us to know. So once again, I do appreciate your joining us on this journey and making it to the end of this video. Until next time, we'll see you on the Living in Marquette, Michigan YouTube channel.